Okay, good morning, great people. So, I was studying last night. In case you see the smoke, this is my stage. I don't want y'all to think I'm smoking. But, I was saging my crystal this morning. Look at it. Oh, it's so beautiful. That's a mirror. Okay, so look, I was studying last night. And I've been doing a lot of reading about the stones. My thing is, everything that I do has got to have a connection or relationship with the Creator. If it does not have some form of connection or relationship with the Creator, there's no connection to Him, then I don't want any parts of it. So, but as I have lately been encountering and coming across more information and being led to these stones, and I thank God for Tamara because she's very informative. So I had to go do some research. Like I had to look at my word to see what the Father says about these stones, how we use them and things like that. So now in just my thinking, I'm like, well, it would make sense for us to use crystals and stones and things like that. I believe with anything, no matter what you do with anything, as long as you're looking at the Creator and using His intention, then you are going to be okay. If you get swept away into the thing that you're doing and you no longer focus on the Creator, that's when we get, lost. And that does not just go for stones. That go for your problems. That go for your love life. That go for family. Like, as long as the Creator is the number one center focus in your life, everything else will fall into place because you always see Him in all things. So, with that, I started looking at the word because I remember reading about the priest and their breastplate and how it had the different stones in it. Now, I always thought it was talking about like the birthstones. It was 12 tribes and there's 12 months of the year. I thought it was like the birthstone for each month, but I believe it goes deeper than that. So, as I was reading last night, first I was looking up armor, like put on the whole armor of God. And it says you wear the belt of truth, the breastplate of righteousness, and it's saying I can't remember where it was. I read quite a few scriptures. I can never remember exactly where the scriptures are. I can never really regurgitate that, but I can tell you what it said. And you can look it up. One scripture I looked at was in Ephesians, or you can just go to the concordance in your Bible and look up armor like I did. But so, it was talking about. It said you wore the belt of truth, the breastplate of righteousness. It said with the sandals. It's like I can't remember fully that part. What it was saying, swift to do. I remember it said the shield and the sword. The word is a sword, and the shield had come to me. I didn't get too much revelation about the shield last night yet. I was working on it, but I got to do more research. But I started looking up the breastplate, right? The breastplate of truth. So when I went to the Old Testament, where God was giving the directions for what Aaron and his sons were, what Aaron was supposed to wear because he was the priest. And it specifically tells the stones. And this is the other thing that was so interesting. Okay, I'm gonna go back. Wait. So it told what stones to put in what spot, and it said to inscribe the name of that tribe. Now, that was real interesting to me for a number of reasons, because there's a lot of cultures who do a lot of calling on the ancestors or in remembrance of the ancestors. And to me, that is what that sounds like. A lot of times we always try to separate the Bible from the other cultures, but I don't think they're that different. I just think that it's the same book that's been changed or altered or interpreted a different way. So I thought that was interesting. And then when you look in the Old Testament, when you read about the breastplate, if you go a little bit farther, it talks about the ephod. I wasn't sure exactly what the ephod was, but when you read what the ephod does, it was a piece to keep the breastplate, from falling, and to keep the rest of the garments onto the priest, which went around his waist, which sounds to me like a belt. And in the ephod, it said put the 12 stones. So when you go back to the New Testament and you read, I think this one was I want to say this was Ephesians 1 that I was reading. It was saying, if you go up a little bit before it says put on the full armor of God, it's saying that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against, spiritual. It's a spiritual fight. So if the full armor of God is to be completely girded and protected, then I believe not only because God is a full circle of everything he does. It's not a one-way street. Like it said, like the word says that, it's a double-edged sword. You won't really see God tell you one thing one time and it means that one, particular thing, because he's so multifaceted. That's what I believe. So when I look at the when it was talking about the we wrestle not against flesh and blood. Now, I've had quite a few encounters, or lately I've been, me and Tamara have been talking a lot, and she's been telling me about, some things, and I think it's very, very interesting that these stones, these crystals, they can ward off negative energy, right? And I believe that it's not that the stone itself do, but God gave us those stones. And when I look at the stones, I'm like, okay, they are found in earth. They are all natural. Of course they can be, maybe anything can be, man-made, but it's not the real version. But it reminds me of the oils. The same. Oh, and then even in the New Testament, after it said you put on the full armor, it said anoint yourself. I don't believe he was talking about just olive oil. I believe he was talking about the essential oils that he gave us, because essential oils, and I have this chart, essential oils and the chakra stones, like they work hand in hand. And then the other thing that I thought was so interesting last night, as I was meditating and talking to God, he showed me that so certain stones do certain things, the same way certain oils do certain things, the same way certain people have different tasks, right? And this is what he showed me today about the people. But so the clear quartz, I never knew too much about it. I looked it up. I love looking up things. But I did, like from the beginning, just looking at all of the stones, I knew that the clear quartz, from light reading and understanding like some of the things that they do, I knew that one is like can be used for protection. But all in all, when I just think about the clear quartz, I'm like, well, to me, that one would have the most likeness to God because it's clear. Meaning, so to me, like the Creator is pure, he's holy, he's righteous. I feel like if you put one color to him, you kind of, put him in a box, or you are limiting what you believe he could do or what he can do because it's one color. That's why I believe that black, to me, like black is the encompassing of all colors. The three primary colors, red, yellow, and blue. Put them together, you get black. Or you can mix all of the secondary colors, put them together, you get black. But you can't get black without all of, those things. And which tells me that the Creator encompasses all things. Like, it's more than one way to make him happy. It's more than one way to make him, displeased. Is more than one thing that you can do to serve him, because he's so multifaceted. So I don't believe that you got to say, oh, one way this, one way that. It may be one way for you because that's what you're supposed to do for him. Like whatever vessel that he made you for, everybody is not that one vessel. He don't have all soldiers and no healers, no people to help with the mental side there. He wouldn't have that because then it'd be one-sided. That's not how he is. So with the oils, I'm like, okay, well, it's got the characteristics of God. And it's like, so when I read up some of the stones, and I looked at the crystal quartz, and the crystal quartz is one of the most powerful stones. It enhances all the other chakra stones. I'm like, yeah, I knew that makes sense to me because I see that one with so much connection to the Creator anyway. He amplified all things. And as long as you're looking at him, you're going to have the best out of it. You're going to get the most. So what I believe that my intentions behind using these stones is, now, I feel like I've had some attacks that was been a little bit different than usual. And I'm grateful for having the stones. Now that I know more, I have a better idea. However, my main thing is that I'm not getting lost in anything. It's not, whether it's my problems, whether it's the essential oils, massaging, the stones, whatever else you take me into, I'm always going to look at him, and I want to encourage everybody to not get lost in whatever it is that you may be doing, whatever it is that you may be thinking. And then the thing that he was showing me last night, like, okay, so the some people kind of battle with the thing about, you know, drinking or not drinking, smoking or not smoking, and, you know, sexual intercourse, no sexual intercourse, you know, things like that. I believe strongly that some things are to be done in moderation. Some things are not to be done at all. Some things are to be done always, you know. So I feel like, just like the scripture says, you bind the word to your foreheads, you meditate on the word day and night. That's something you do always. If you smoke and you drink and all you do is find the next person to be with always, then that's not honoring, learning, growing. That's not, you know, so you kind of got it backwards, you know. So then the outcome of that is wrong. You put that thing as your most holy thing, the thing that, you know, should be, the thing that you do most should be the thing that you, is going to be the thing that you honor, that you fear, that you praise, that mean the most to you. And that should always be the creator. It shouldn't be the stones. It shouldn't be the smoking or drinking. Excuse me. Like, it shouldn't be serving other people, even though those are halfway decent, some bad things. But anything that's out of place for the creator will be wrong. Too much of, excuse me. Like, if you ate apples all day long, apple is a good fruit, but it doesn't have enough protein to nourish you. It's not going to give you all the other things that you need just because it's a good, healthy fruit, especially if you get the organic kind. But, okay, and then I was thinking about this other thing he showed me. I was looking at the chakras, right? So I got to do more research on this, and I can't wait to do it. Now, you got the crown chakra, which I believe is, you know, like understanding. It's about, you know, the crown chakra to me is having the Lord as the root and the head of my life, and, you know, the thing that is at the top. And as long as that thing is at the top, everything else will be amplified, especially when you're using the right crystals. So, or should I say, you know, good intentions. And that's another thing I talk about, because I read about putting your intent into the stone and meditating with the stone and things like that. I'm not going to meditate with the stone, but I will pray and hold one and have my intention, say, Father, I want, like my prayer for today, with my stone. And I was thinking, I'm like, Father, with the clear quartz, I give reverence to you. So whatever, I believe that he will protect me. I believe that, and I pray for whatever protection he will give me through this, but it's not the stone itself, but the power that he would use it for, because it's his. He can use all things. So, you know, and I believe that, again, like he's got so much in place for his people, but we don't really look at it to see him. So I don't think we use it correctly. That's what it boils down to. The other thing, it'll come back to me. I forgot what I was saying before I got sidetracked. But the intention behind what you do, if you always see the creator, if you always serving the creator, if you're, and like the green one, I forgot that, I think it's aventurine, that brings about abundance. But I don't want, you know, any type of abundance outside of what the creator wants for me. So, you know, I pray for the abundance of wisdom and the abundance of understanding, the abundance and, you know, finances, the abundance and love for him, love for myself, love for my son, love for people. I pray for the abundance of, you know, I forgot everything else that I said. Oh, I got all over me. But that was, you know, that was my personal prayer, part of my personal prayer this morning. So I just say, please don't get lost in whatever it is that you're doing. Please always see the creator. Please serve him wholeheartedly. You know, it's easy to get sidetracked, and it doesn't just mean in, you know, your problems. Again, it could be, don't get sidetracked in happiness and in joy and in money. Don't get sidetracked in having a relationship to the point where you no longer see the creator. You no longer serve him. You no longer do what he's put in your heart to do. Always look to him, to be led by him, and you can't go wrong. And I say this to everyone else as I, you know, encourage myself, because the word is a double-edged sword. It's those who give and those who receive. And the faith come by hearing by the word of God. I'm hearing the word as he's giving me the word. So we gotta, I believe in encouraging and uplifting. So kind of in a rush. I had to say that this morning. Have a great day, good people.